Hello my darlings, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my Cockney Craft family. We're here in my weekly series of recording my memories, my 52 weeks of memory keeping, and we're on week 20, so it's getting really chunky, isn't it? I think I should have done more signatures and a thicker spine, and then that way it would have sat flatter, you know, but I didn't realise I was going to bulk it out in this way because I haven't journaled in this way before. Of course, I record my memories and in a junk journal, and I've been doing that for some time, but I haven't done it religiously every week and stuck loads of things in every single week. So you'll just notice I've got a big fat chunky book here, this ancient but wonderful book that I've got, and I'm putting it underneath so that I've got a flat surface to work on, and I'm going to be using this side because I have this eco-dyed piece of watercolour paper and it reminds me of seaweed, so I'll explain why I want to use that. So what it is, this week, if you watched last week's or my video before, you'll know that last week I had 2 new grandchildren arrive. I've got a picture here with all 5 of them, but they're so little, apart from this one who's 8. All the others are so little, trying to get them to sit still was near enough impossible. So she's listening to nursery rhymes on the phone. This one was already playing a game on the TV when we sat down, and my son just started snapping, and this was just the best one we could get, and no one's looking except me. But I think they're too young to get them to all sit still at the same time. But this has been this week, so I want to include this. And the seasides, Jamie just got a new car, so we've made 2 trips to the seaside in the last week because he had a couple of days off and the weather's been glorious, so we had a couple of trips to the seaside, which was lovely. I didn't take any pictures, unfortunately, and also I've been thinking about the seaside a lot because I launched a collaboration that I'm doing with Maggie from Beach and Sari, and I launched that this week, and it is a holiday junk journaling by the sea. And if you didn't see that video that I put up yesterday, I made this Coca-Cola glass pocket with some teeny tags in that that I'm going to record all bits and bobs in this journal as we go along about this junk journaling holiday. And I just added junk journal by the sea, well JJ, because junk journal wouldn't have fitted in, and a few little embellishments. And yeah, I'm counting down the weeks, really excited, and all little bits and bobs that I feel that I want to record for posterity for the future will be in this journal. And yeah, so because that is where the junk journaling holiday will be, right by the sea on a lovely little island called the Isle of Wight, I've had the ocean and the beach and what have you at the forefront of my mind all week. So let's get cracking. Right, so I've chosen a few little bits and bobs, not too much, because as I said, this junk journal is getting very full. But I really like this, these invoices, and I thought I would add just part of it onto this page. Yeah, just somewhere. I'm looking now. Do I want it there? I might do. I think I might just rip down here and then have these torn bits, just a little, just to add a little something different. So I'll just move this to the side for a second. And this, gosh, there's a lot of moving about going on. And will tear this, and then I want to ink it. I was going to ink it first because it's very thin paper, but I'm not sure how that will work out. Now I want it ripped sideways. I haven't got a tear ruler, but if I'm ripping long like this, it's just quicker to just use my normal ruler. And I'm thinking, yeah, we'll go on the wonk a bit coming out. If I don't like it, I can always tear another one, and I can put that aside for something else. And there we've got it. So, thinking, staying on the theme of the ocean, I want to ink it up with blue and green. Not with that, not with the brown dauber. And we'll just go about a bit. Dabbing on and swishing around. I could have done with another round one, but I haven't got another round one at the moment. But that's no dramas. Just filling in this white, and I'm really liking how this is coming out. So, yeah, welcome. I've had a couple of new subscribers this week, and you are so welcome. I'm really glad you could join us. And I'm really, really grateful for everyone that has been sticking by me, giving me such lovely comments all the time, reaching out to me. I really am very, very lucky, and I really do appreciate it. So, I hope you're all well. I'm just getting a bit more blue on there. I think that's quite nice. Yeah, I've had a very positive and exciting week, especially like we've just launched this new idea that we want to do a little junk journaling holiday. And yeah, I'm going to turn that off. It is very exciting stuff. So, I've been on quite a high. Right, I'm going to get the blue and then just go around the edges with that. So, yeah, I've had a great week. And I think I'm going to, although you can see this is 10, I think I'm going to take out 1 or 2 bits so it's not so straight. Which, with a tear ruler, you wouldn't have to do, would you? But yeah, I don't have one of those. So, I just rip off 1 or 2 bits, and that will just give the effect that I want. This, as I said, this paper is very, very thin, but I like it, and it just adds some more to the page without adding bulk, because these pages are used with carbon paper, aren't they, and another page underneath, because it's out of an invoice book. So I'll glue it as well before I get the other book back, because there's not enough room on this desk to have everything that I need at the same time. But I'll just grab the book. I won't grab the other book for underneath because I'm just laying this down. I'll be using that in a bit, just to work out placement when I'm putting more down, so that I can see it all properly. But at the minute, I just need to get this first thing down on the page. Oh, which is stuck to my finger. Oh, so yeah, I hope you've all had a great week. Oh my gosh, just now I was going to film this about an hour ago, right? And right, let's see, going from the top. Just grab the fat book for a minute, move this so it don't get glue on it, and bring it up, just to take out any bubbles or creases. So yeah, I was going to film this about an hour ago, And I picked up these just to have a look at, but picked up from the wrong end, and it don't look like there's that many in here. Oh wow, they're really packed in, and there was like a million of them. Try and grip a feather when it's stuck on like lino. There's just, it takes forever. You're grasping and grasping and you can't grip it. It was so long, it really was so long. Right, so we've got that in place. I do like that with the yellow, but I like that too. I think I'm going to go with this side because of this is much more about the sea, isn't it, on this side? So I'm not sure. Let's have a look. I'm just going to grab the bits and bobs that I want to stick in it. So I've just grabbed my book again, and if you've been with me for a while, you'll remember I knocked over my candle, and I've got this like wax stain there. So I thought I'll have another ripped piece. Don't want to colour that because I quite like the greeny yellowy look that a flower head has given me just there. And this one, where you can't probably see on camera at all because it's so faint, even with the naked eye, you can see the veins in the leaf from that bit there. I really like those on show. So I've got this paper pad that's very thin and just small. I thought it would be good for tags that I can just back on coffee dyed paper and they're not giving me too much bulk. But it's called Sea View, and yeah, it's really lovely. I haven't used much out of it yet. That might be quite nice with the starfish, and I can't remember what those round ones are, but yeah, that might be quite nice. Let's see, there was something else. Oh, I like that one as well, with the shells and the starfish. I think I'll have that one because there's quite a mix of shells there, and that looks pretty cool. So we just want, we don't want to come down too much, so I can go across more than down. So I'll start there just under our starfish. I know it's not a lot, but I don't need a lot, and it just does make a difference. So we'll get some ink just on these edges. Really love this blue. It's broken china. Right, so this little bit here will fit nicely, and I think I want a bit of the same here. So I'll just tear it from this bit, get that jaggedy bit off, and that, I think I like the look of that there. So just go around the edge again. And yeah, it's been a busy week, but very exciting, with loads of new things on the horizon. Sometimes it feels like there's not enough hours in the day, but that's all good. That's all good. I'd rather it be like that than being bored and not having nothing to do, you know, because before I took up art again and started doing like different bits and bobs and making journals for myself and that, I used to have times when I was so bored, like when Jamie was at work or something, and yeah, the time just drags and it's horrible, especially when like everyone else is out and about at work. And it wasn't so bad when I was working too, and then when I had to pack up work, it was just so boring. It really was, and that's no way to live, you know, like just waiting for someone to come home or like to be able to talk to someone. But where I'm always busy now, like making journals or kits or working on little different ideas, I don't have time to get bored, so it's fantastic. So yeah, I would recommend it to anybody. Right, I quite like that. I've cut this down a little bit, just cut a little bit off to have that about that level. I was going to put my photograph perhaps on this pocket. So, yeah, and I could take a little bit off of this because I don't need as much on there as that. So I think we'll do that as well. As long as we're not cutting any of our heads off. We don't need all the wallpaper in it. So I can come down a bit. And just slowly. And I can take off some at this end. Next to my little baby granddaughter. I think that's gone wonky. That's it. It's straight now. I needed it under my eyeball. Because with me further back than the top, sometimes it's difficult to hold it in place. So I took the excess that wasn't needed. I could even take a little bit more each side, but I think that'll be fine. And I'm going to round the corners at the top. And that'll go, I'll just move this up in case. I've got that tab there, but on this side I can go just above it, like that. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go round this one in the green. Because it's a beautiful colour. Cracked pistachio we're working with now. And these Distress Oxides, I love working with them, especially wetting them and the different effects you can get with them. It's really fun to play around and just try different techniques, because you can lay colour on colour and it doesn't go muddy. It really doesn't. Like, you'd think if you put in like blue and pink and yellow and purple and all sorts of different things, that it would start to muddy, but it really doesn't. Right, I've just moved that a little touch. I'm just checking that, yeah, you can see it anyway. I just like to check though. So we're going to have it that way, and just above the little eyelet, yeah. So I'll use this stronger Beacon glue, because pockets get quite a bit of wear and tear, don't they, if you're taking things in and out. And also this glue is going gloopy. Might start on a different one. Also, if like where there's a bit of fabric there as well, other glues, I don't think other glues cut the mustard in the way that this one does, but that's just my opinion. I've seen plenty of people using loads of different types of glue, but yeah, that one is just my preference. I prefer it. Right, so we've got our pocket. I had to press down a bit more than I normally would because of the fabric being there, lifting that a little bit. But yeah, what did I have that side? Oh, my son's birthday weeks ago, and so yeah, there's a little clock marking the passage of time. And so, do I want those there? Or I might come... I think I'm going to bring these up the page, the kids. Grab the glass plate thing to put some glue on. And because I'm gluing on different surfaces, the paper to paper is perfect. But the paper that has... the paper that's been eco-dyed and that sometimes might not get a great finish, or it might not adhere as well. So just if you're using glue stick on different types of paper, just make sure that you really press it in, because once you've eco-dyed the paper, you've got like indentations from the plants, the stems and whatnot, the flower heads and that, and so you're not working on a completely flat, never did anything to piece of paper. So yeah, press down to get in all the nicks and crannies, because I can feel it. I can feel my fingers slipping into little bits. You can probably see I've got some ridges. So yeah, that's firmly adhered now. Right, what I want to work on now is this pocket, because at the minute there's not a lot going on. So I've got a couple of bits of fabric that I have torn, and I think it'd be really nice to make these look like a bit like waves in the sea. We'll go first with the green. Sorry, that just flew across. I was using this just before this video, and as I've picked up the glue, the lid must have had a bit on and it stuck to it. That just whooshed across the across the front of me, I suppose, on camera, like it was alive. But yeah, it was because I haven't bothered to put it back yet on my little trims wall. Right, so I've got a bit there hanging down quite like that, and we'll smush now up and down, smushing up and down. Right, and then as I undo that, I can take a bit of this off as well. And I really like this effect. Once you've got a couple of fabrics in the colours laid down on top of one another, I think they really do just put the idea of the sea into your mind. Right, so we'll have the darker blue at the bottom, because as you go down in the depths of the sea, it does get darker, doesn't it? So that's what we're going to do. And I don't want to go to the very bottom, because I want to be able to see some of these little bits and pieces. And I like that bit there, so I'm going to go under and then just start smushing my way across the pocket. Yeah, right. Let's smush a bit more. Right, I'm really happy with that. And then I've got these two bits. I had one other bit, didn't I? There it is. So the lighter bit I want at the top, and I'm going to cut a bit off because it just goes too wide. So, and I just want to fray the edge at that end that I've just cut off, and a little bit from the height, and again I'll just fray the edge to make it the same as the other sides. And yeah, I just think it reminds me of the sea, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And with this, so you can still see the sea life through the thin organza, which is cool. Right, and I'm going to try and go quite close to the green this time, and we'll go with the thinner end there. Some of it trying to tuck right into the green, maybe going, pressing it in so it's a bit underneath this bit there. Yeah, like that. Right, I want that under, not over. Stay. Right, and then, right, these couple of bits, I think I'm just going to use one. Right, I'll use this one, and just a little couple of bits here and there, with, because you know, like how you see the sunlight on the water, and it really sparkles when the light catches it. Different little bits of sea spray that really do sparkle in the sun. So I'm going to just lay these bits over here and there to sparkle like those little bits of sunlight that you get on the sea. Don't you just love, like, when you're right next to the ocean and the sun is sparkling on the water, and it really is lovely. Right, I'm getting lots of gunkiness coming out. I need to thin this glue down, but I might as well use it. So we'll just cut a couple of more pieces, right, kind of like that, and I'll use this offcut as my spatula going over here. Right, let's try and get those sequins stuck in there. That's it. Where's the other piece? Oh, it's still on the scissors. And I think I'm just going to go with one small piece now, and I'm going to put it on that denim there. So, as you can imagine, with 2 new babies in the family, everything has changed yet again, but for the better. It's wonderful. And I thought I'd use this raffle ticket somewhere, because it's 3 to 5, and I've gone from 3 to 5 grandchildren. I know it's cheesy and that, but I thought about using a ticket, and then yeah, that one really caught my eye. Oh, another thing I wanted to use, I was looking through my stash for bits and bobs, and I forgot that I had this confetti that looks, it's all little things from the ocean. So I've got a little mermaid I could tuck in, or she might be a bit big. No, I could tuck her there and smush some of the sea through around where she is. And I've got a couple of little bits. I could put starfish maybe there. And yeah, I just think these are super cute. And I've got blues and that, but I'm going to use different colours, because otherwise they'll just get lost. We won't be able to see them. So I think I'll have a little shell there. Grab the glue again. And yes, I forgot that I had them. Do you do that? I suppose most people do that. I start having a look. It's like going shopping, but in my own room. Because I start looking for stuff that I might have one thing in mind and I'm not too sure, so I think, well, I'll look through my bits and pieces of ephemera or paper, and sometimes I'll just find things that I've forgotten completely that I ever owned, you know, or that I made, or that I just, and it's such a bonus when that happens, because you feel like it's a little present, because you completely forgot that you even owned it. So yeah, I love that. Right, I've got a hair of mine stuck to me now in the glue. Right, so that's our pocket perfectly down. We've got our mermaid and our little bits and bobs. I'm going to move this out of the way now so we can work on our tags. Now, one more thing that I want to do here, because if I leave it I will forget. Maddie at Beach and Sabi, that I'm collaborating with on our little journaling holiday, she sent me some teeny tiny bits of sea glass and some sand. Well, I've used the sand in a smaller bottle now. I had them all in here, but then I've separated them, and I've got a couple of tiny bits of sea glass, a little tiny piece of shell, and a little tiny piece, it looks like pottery. And I thought, hang on, I'll use that one. I thought these would look wonderful as well in the sea, or down here where the seabed would be. So I think I'm going to use glossy accents. Here we go, here it comes. So I just thought the odd bit here and there would just look lovely, so I'm trying to find the flattest edge that I've got, the flattest side, to place our pieces so that it will adhere. But with the beauty with something like glossy accents, if you leave it, oh, I've just lifted that back off, that's it, I'll put a bit more because I lifted it with my sticky 3-in-1 fingers. And yeah, if you leave it a good while for it to properly set, it's never going nowhere. It really does adhere forever. Well, that's what I've found personally. So, my little seascape just here, I'm really pleased with that now. So, we'll work on the tags. Right, so like I said, I don't want to add loads and loads of bulk. So, I've chosen that one out of this book. And I'm thinking, let's keep looking. I think I like this one. Yeah. Okay, and so I want you to do a trifold tag. I don't want these as wide. I'm not going to take too much off because this will be the main tag for that pocket. And I just need to cut the paper down to size, and I'm going to make a trifold tag. So we need oh, and I know I mentioned that ticket and then I've completely ignored it since, but I'll come back to that in a minute. So we wanted the height and we want the width 3 times. I can rub this out straight after. 1, 2, 3. And I could have just done it by sticking these bits on and then cutting it, but I thought it'd be nice to get that bit done. I can always trim again if I'm not happy with anything. And I can leave those on until the actual placement of the papers. And that way I've got a little rough guide, haven't I? So, let's open that is straight. And open that, I'm not sticking my edge right in the way. Nice and slowly to avoid the squeaking. Right. And we'll have one bit like that, and that bit will be like that. Perfect. Right, I can rub these out now. We'll stick this one down first. And again, it's just coffee dried paper and this very thin paper. So cheap old glue stick is more than enough that you would need, really. I used to glue everything with my 3-in-1 from Beacon. Literally everything. And it's just such a waste because it's not a cheap glue and there's really no point in using it on everything. You're just wasting your money. Like, I can get a few of these for £1. I think it was 3 or 4 for £1. And so what's the point? I have tried other glue sticks as well. Don't get me wrong, not all glue sticks are worth it. Tried Pound Shop glue sticks, they was no good. One time, Pound Shop had Yoo-Hoo glue, you know, U-H-U, either Oohoo or Yoo-Hoo. They had that glue. I'm going to have to take just a bit off, but I'll do that in a minute. And that was really good. But just the generic, it's got no brand name glue that I found in the Pound Shop was rubbish. It seemed to glue at the time because I was using them a bit with Lily, my granddaughter, for those of you that are new. And it'd glue like this, and then when it was dry it just come straight off. You turn the page and the finger fall off. They was completely rubbish. So, like, because you got bigger ones. Hang on, is that one? No, that's a normal Pritt stick. I recommend Yoo-Hoo or Pritt stick as your glue stick. Or there might be other brands that I just haven't discovered yet. But Pound Shop's own or the pound shop one where you get like at least half a dozen for £1. I'd save your £1 and look somewhere else, even if you have to pay a couple of quid for a couple of them. It's a lot cheaper than always using your really expensive glues, but you know you're not going to end up just with nothing on your page once it's dry rather. So just a little tip, because I know sometimes you'll watch something and think, oh yeah, I'll try that, which is exactly what I did. And I bought the pound shop ones, and I've still got, I think it was 5 or 6 for £1, and however many it was, I've still got them all barring one, the first one we used. I should throw them out really, because they're no use to me at all, and there's no point in giving them away. They're no use to anyone unless they just want to use it as non-permanent glue. If you want something glued for a couple of hours, then yeah, but otherwise pointless. So I don't like throwing things away, but that is something that I should do. Right, so we've got our trifold tag. So opened out, you'll see we've got 2 blank places, and there we've got 2 blank places. So there's plenty of room to journal on wherever we want to be. And I think, just as contrast, I'm going to ink. No, I'm not. I'm going to use Vintage Photo. I was going to use the green, but I changed my mind. Oh, and before I do anything else, I need to cut my corners, don't I? Because this is going to be a tag. It's not going to be something different. Right, so I've got my little guides to cut in the edges. What I can do is put an eyelet there and there. We won't have one in the middle. And what we got? Oh, we'll go with the copper colour for a little change. These are going to have ribbons in, so we want something there. And so what? I'll probably just use these bits that I cut off. No, I don't think that's going to be long enough. Oh, it might be. I don't want to use the denim. I know that, because that's too thick. So, right, here we go. I've moved that a little bit. That might be the right. I could still, no, I think I still want it a little tiny bit shorter. Right. So, not loads. And now, I bet I won't be able to get it through the hole. Here we go. And yeah, that's plenty long enough for what I need it for. So we'll cut that bit, grab my other scissors, and then just fray it. A few little strands. Perfect. Right. And I want this on this side. I think I'm going to go a bit narrower with that. And it tears so easy, and then you've already got your frayed bit. And I'm going to trim that scruffy end off, because I won't want that anywhere. And yeah, we'll see how long we need this. Oh, I want to come through from the back. Right. That looks like it's pretty cool as it is. So yeah, and then once they've mingled together, we've got our nice sea colours again. But I want to add something, a few little bits and bobs, because they're a bit boring as they are. So we'll add a few embellishments. Right, I just had a rummage through my stash, because like I said, I don't want too much bulk. So I found some thin pieces of bits and bobs that could be used. Some MAC paper that could be used as well. Yeah, just little bits and bobs. And I've also got these couple of offcuts that we used earlier, and I just think it's always good, isn't it, to look through. I keep all torn like bits that I've just cut a piece off and used. I keep them in here, and then I've got smaller bits in another one, and it's so worth it because you haven't got to rummage through things that big. A lot. I've got one for big bits, one for small bits. Yeah, that reminds me. I also found some little offcuts in the smaller one, and a couple of things that I'd like cut out, like little die cuts that I've cut out and not used, but that really go well. This is like the matching papers where you get one that's normal and one foiled, and yeah, they was just in my little stash. Don't know what they was doing. So we've got all them bits to play about with, and washies, you know. I often forget washies, and they don't add bulk, and I've got some really lovely contrasting colours. So I think I'm going to start there. I think I want the green on this side. And, right, let's get my chopping board again, because the glue on the back of washi tape, couldn't think then, the glue on the back of washi tape is, to put it nicely, rubbish. That is the best I can say. It's rubbish because it don't stick. Some might, the odd one. Right, we'll go back there. Don't want to waste it. I really like this sparkly green, but yeah, this one feels stickier than normal, but I ain't gonna trust it, so I'm gluing it. But yeah, I said they don't stick. This one does feel quite sticky. So this is a lucky one, because as a general rule, they don't. So I always use a bit of glue on the back, just to be on the safe side. Otherwise, when what you've made gets to its final destination, you don't want it to, especially if you're sending something to somebody else, you don't want it then to arrive in bits and pieces, as if you've sent them a kit to make. As you've sent their like lovely card or lovely pocket with tags that you've made for a friend, and then it arrives in kit form, so that they've got to make it all again because it's fell apart. And yeah, it's the same old story. Some washies are like it, some aren't, in the same way that some glue sticks are sticky and some aren't. So yeah, it's all a bit of trial and error. But yeah, that's the first time I've used this green one, and I probably wouldn't have needed to use the glue on the back of that one because it felt quite sticky. But yeah, I really like that. Oh, and I inked all around just after I finished rummaging, because everyone knows how to ink. It just adds time that's boring for people watching. Right, I've got it undone. This one does not feel sticky at all. I'd like that going up there or there. There. Yeah, this one doesn't feel sticky one little bit. So we'll glue stick this and then get it on the page. But yeah, you can get some lovely ones. I've got loads and I forget that I've got them, really, and I shouldn't do, because they are on the desk over there next to me. But yeah, my sewing machine's in between me and them, so I'm not really likely. I don't always see them or think of them, but they do add interest, and you can get, like I said, you can get some really gorgeous ones, or you can mix and match a couple up to like collage with, which is probably what I'm going to do, to make a lovely little collage without all the bulk. So I wipe the board, and I think I'm going to do what I did on the bit of invoice paper and have a bit of green and blue, because I do like the way that turned out, and it's nice to sort of carry something on, a little theme somewhere. Right, and then I'll put put some more green on, but I might take a little bit of that off, just wiping it slightly. And where we get a bit of the lighter green, again, that's too much, let's wipe it. You can just wipe it with the other side of the sponge if you're using a sponge like this. Little couple of blobs up there. And somewhere to stick it. I think we're going to go over here. And yeah, I really liked the 3 to 5 thing. And I know it was last week having the babies, but yeah, that's why I've combined the two. Like a lot of seaside elements in my week with still the babies, because you know what it's like in a family. When one baby arrives, you all go baby gaga for a little while, don't you? Like, just going mad for them. But then when there's two at the same time, it's just been fabulous. So yeah, I like that stuck up there. I think we'll do, I might have a little bit of this overlapping. And again, I can ink that right up, and I'll try and get a little bit more green on, because it's gone a bit too blue now for me. I wanted more blue, more green on that side. Right, so that's the good thing about the oxide. You can go right on the top, even if it's a darker colour underneath, and that light colour will still have the same vibrancy as if it was going on to plain paper that you haven't just put a darker colour on, which is cool. And yeah, I will use better glue because of having that bit underneath. And let's see, yeah, perfect. Grab the board. I'll have to open another glue, I think, because this is ridiculously gloopy. But it'll get the job done, which is the main thing. Coming over, lining up these nice straight edges. Right, I really love those colours together. I do think they work really well. Right. And what else should we have on here? Right, so I do apologise, my camera just cut out. All I did, right, we was up to here on this tag, and I think that's probably fine there. And there's so much journaling space. 2 sides on that side and 2 sides there. So I like that so far. I don't think I need anything else on there. Other than I bought the most amazing charms the other day on eBay. You get 110 for like a couple of quid. I think it was just under 3 quid, something like that. And look at this, it's a little flip-flop. It's just gorgeous. I really love it. So yeah, there was a really lovely mix. They're not all summery, but they're all different. And yeah, the flip-flops are just fabulous. Like you get, like, I don't know, so many of each design. There's like I think 11 designs. Yeah, brilliant they are. Look at that, I just love it. So yeah, gorgeous flip-flop. I needed to use one of those because I've been thinking about the sea. I also found one of these in my stash. So, and it looks a bit boring, doesn't it? But I thought if I back it with that, just some of that paper that I had left that I was tearing and sticking on the page, and then these little offcuts, all I did on camera while my battery ran out was ink around the edges, and yeah, the bits that wasn't tagged, so I cut the corners off. So right, so as gently as I can, I'm just gonna go around the edge. When you're getting down towards the last bits of your glue, you can't get as thin a line, but it's not going too bad. And that is that. Get that done quick. And yeah, I just thought this will just be peeping through, won't it? And of course this is going to have stuff in it, little pockets, pocket within a pocket. So yeah, I'm going to put some of these just little offcuts and that in it. You don't even have to journal on them. Like this one is that on that side, and I've got some sheet music that I've inked on the other side, and just looks pretty sticking out. So yeah, if you don't want to, you ain't even got to put stuff that you have to journal on in. I could journal over that side if I wanted to, but I probably won't. I just wanted it for the colour. So right, that one and that one will not fit into here, so they're just got to go in the pocket on their own. And I'm going to put, right, I've got some little offcuts as well, so tiny that a lot of the time you'd probably sweep them up and just put them in the bin. But yeah, I do have a little snippet thing with the tiny little bits in, because they do come in handy for things like this, making the top of a tag. Instead of punching a hole, you can just make a little tab with your fabric. So easy, you don't need no punch and that. I did a few of these the other week when I broke my hole punch, and I was waiting for my new hole punch and eyelet set to come, and yeah, it was well frustrating. So I thought I'll just do these ones. I like how they look, and so yeah, I've done a few of them last week. But yeah, it is all exciting times for me at the minute. And I am getting so excited that my brain just keeps racing from one thing to the next. I just wanted to mention, if anyone has watched my previous video about our junk journaling holiday by the sea and is interested in coming and that, I just wanted to point out, I myself have fibromyalgia, and so I get very tired because a lot of the time, and I'm in a lot of pain. I've got a couple of other conditions as well. So if you were worried about it being tiring or anything like that, the structure of the course is very laid back. And one thing I would say is that we're not starting each day early in the morning, and we're not doing it all day long. We'll have a 2-hour session in the morning and a 2-hour session in the afternoon going into evening, just before our evening meal. And we have a very long break in between that you could sort of, if you did want to come, you can lie down, go and have a lie down, go and have a walk along the beach, go and have a sit and drink a tea or coffee or whatever, watching the waves. It really won't be a strenuous, difficult thing. And the other thing is that if you were too tired and wanted to sit a session out or that and just go back to your room, that's fine. It's not a school. It's not compulsory that you do every single bit of the thing, you know. You will have your whole kit to make a junk journal and all the embellishments and everything like that that we provide, and you can use that at the course, or well, it's not really called, at the holiday. And like, if you don't use it all and you don't finish, that is yours. That is your pack that you take away with you, either with your journal fully complete or with your journal a work in process, you know. There's nothing set in stone, not one thing. So I really just wanted to say that to reassure people in case you was worried. I've got a bit of colour on that. Right, I'm not going to use that one. I've got a bit of colour on the edge that wasn't coming off, and I didn't want it to look dirty, so I'll just grab another pink one, and I can probably stick it where that bit of glue was. Yeah, right, just make sure I haven't stuck anything down. Right, so these will oh, I hate these when they're just sort of, the static is holding them together. Right, go. go. That's it. The one at the back's always the worst, isn't it? Right, so we've got that in there. We've got some more little islands. I think they'll probably fit near the front. What else have we got? Oh, our music. That, I like that. Tucked up there. Let's see. Yeah, like that. And we've got this little bit down here, and it's just script. It's just a bit of scrapbooking paper that was obviously left from something. I can't remember what I would have been making. And this was wider and had fabric wrapped around it, like trim, that was sent to me by a very dear friend. And I've used all the trim that was on this one. And normally I do save them, but I thought it'd be quite cool to have one in my journal. And what I've just got this little scrap that it's so stringy and everything, would definitely have been thrown away in any other circumstance other than a junk journaler, I would have thought, because we just see the potential in, yeah, junk that other people would sweep up and throw away without a second thought. And we see the potential. Look at those beautiful, like the sparkling of the fabric, you know. It's just, it's a lovely thing to be able to do, isn't it? To be able to see some wonder in everything and that. And that is to me the sort of ideology of junk journaling, to be able to see the potential and see the joy that something that other people will class as junk, see the joy that it could bring and the beauty that could stay in the world rather than going to landfill. Right, so about there. I think we'll have that one going further back, that's it. And we'll have our music notes there and our little bit of script there. And yeah, I quite like that. So I'm going to grab my pocket and my page that it seemed so long ago that we've forgotten all about it, from down there. Grab your big book. Oh, let's turn the book round so I can clip the page to stop it going anywhere. So I've got plenty of them to journal because there's loads in my mind. So, not on top of everything. Here we are. Right, so I've got my nice big tag with my lovely little flip-flop on there. And I'm not worried about covering the photo really, because I can pull it out and look at us all. That is fine. I've got me pocket of little tags and whatnot. This die cut, I don't know where it's from, what I was making, but it's a leftover, so I'm using that because I've got a lot in my head that I wanna keep a record of. So we've got a nice lot of bits and bobs. One final thing, because I think they're so cute and I was so pleased that I hadn't thrown them away, or I hadn't lost them, because I forgot I had these. So we've got lots of blues and greens. I think I'm going to go for the green pair of little flip-flops, and I'm going to put them there, I think, because yeah, I think that would be cool, and they'll be on view all the time. And they've just got those little sticky bits, but again, I don't trust them sticky bits, so I'm going to put my own glue on there, which I just dropped on the floor. And I just think they're so cute. And that bit there. Oh, sorry if I've got my head in frame. Oh, and just a bit of glue here. And we're all good to go. So, there's my flip-flops. I just thought I had one of the feathers on here that I dropped and spent what seems like the best part of my life crawling round picking them all up, and I just thought, do you know what, I just saw this random one that I'd missed, and I thought, you know what, that's just going to go on one of these tags. So, or this little die cut that can be a journaling spot. I think I'll have that feather poking out like that. So yeah, we've got our fun trifold tag with our gorgeous flip-flop. That is my absolute favourite thing this week. Not my favourite thing that's happened or I've done, but it's my favourite piece. It just looks so cute. And yeah, all those bits in that pocket. Our feather from the 1,000,001 Feathers. And that is week 20. A very seaside film, but as always, the family are the backbone. And that sums me up really, isn't it? There might be lots of stuff going on, but my loved ones are my backbone, and there they are. And you see, now the glossy accents are dried, my little sea glass and my little piece of shell and that, I really love how this page turned out. So thank you for joining me for week 20. If you have any queries about our junk journaling holiday that has really inspired this page, just give me a shout, or Maggie over at Beach and Sari. I'll link everything down below. And yeah, if not, thank you. I hope you was journaling along with me. I hope I haven't bored you to tears with my life. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll be back with something else very soon. I love you all lots. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.